Hey, Carm here. Welcome to episode 389. And in just a few bits, you'll hear some great stories about mentoring and how it affects both the mentor and the mentee. This episode's for your growth and personal development. Here's a taste.
And I also think there's a huge loyalty factor in it. So if you have had a mentor and it's a boss and they've listened to you and they understand everything that's going on in your life and give you a bit of a voice, and you start to have that relationship, that's an incredibly powerful tool for retention.
Welcome, aftermarketers, to Remarkable Results Radio. Listen to learn just one thing from today's episode on your journey to remarkable results. Hey, Carm Capriato here, and welcome. I'm with Legacy Automotive Aftermarket Human Resource Professional, Dr. John Passante, President and CEO of the Organizational Development Group, who has been and continues to be a mentor. Joining us is Aaron Schaffer, the Director of Product and Marketing at KYB. Aaron strives to be a good mentor, but cites John as a great mentor to him. This episode is brought to you by Federal Mogul Motor Parts and Garage Gurus. Now, for serious technical training and support, online, on-site, and on demand, Garage Gurus is everything you need to know. Find out more at fmgaragegurus.com. Hey, I ran into a quote from Mother Teresa, and she says, "I alone cannot change the world, but I can cast a stone across the waters to create many ripples." Have you thought about the power of the Remarkable Results Radio podcast catalog? Well, we are rippling the waters each week, serving up your private immersion time to pull innovative ideas and thoughts so you can test your own waters or plan to make a change. Find the time in your business to schedule and make the podcast part of your weekly learning curve. Again, in December 2018, I'm giving away Podcast Collector's Swag, a real cool coffee mug and mouse pad, and all you have to do is listen for the December password inside this episode. Now, enter to win at remarkableresults.biz/swag. Hey, we picked 3 winners in November 2018. You have a great chance. Get on board. Hey, now for a special treat, an interview with Dr. John Passante and Aaron Schaffer, recorded at Apex 2018. Now, John is a well-respected mentor who has 35-plus years of experience in human resource and organizational development. John's been on the podcast before with his passion for everything of the humankind. He is an author and lecturer and prides himself in helping companies increase their effectiveness. John, as a mentor, helps the mentee on the road to self-awareness. He probes the mentee's strengths, values, and areas that need improvement. Now, Aaron Schaffer is well-versed in sales, product, and marketing, a lifelong car enthusiast and active in motorsports competition. And as a mentor, Aaron always challenges his mentee's thought process and, most importantly, stands with them when they fail. He believes that a lot of today's younger employees really lack confidence, and that's where he can greatly help them. We have never talked so much in our industry as to the value that mentoring will bring to our young people as well as to established leaders. Enjoy this approach to the mentor-mentee relationship from John and Aaron. Find the links to the previous interviews, bios, and the episode's talking points at remarkableresults.biz/E389. And don't forget, listen to learn just one thing. This interview will help develop your mentor-mentee relationships that are so important today, and they're based on trust and a safe place. And as always, listen to learn just one thing. Enjoy. Hey, welcome everyone back to the Apex studio here at Apex 2018. Carm Capriato with 2 very special people. Dr. John Passante, President and CEO of the Organizational Development Group, an HR leader in our aftermarket. John is no stranger to Remarkable Results Radio, and in fact, John, I think within a week or two of this live recording we're doing, you and I are going to got in the studio and we talked about performance reviews, and I'm telling you, it's a must listen. So that's in your memory banks, everyone. And also with me is Aaron Schaffer, Director of Marketing and Product at KYB. Nice to have you here, Aaron.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
What's so interesting is that John mentored Aaron.
Yes.
And he's here willing to talk about it.
I know, right?
That's a miracle.
Yes, it is. So, hey, guys, one of the biggest issues that goes on in our industry today at the service professional technician level, the CEO of the Small Business America, is we're talking so much about mentoring. And I ask a lot of people, yes, I'm going to mentor a new tech. I'm going to bring on a service advisor, brand new person from outside the industry, and we're going to mentor that person. And I think back in my mind, it's great. Wow, beautiful, commitment. But do they really understand and know what mentoring is? So that's why it was so important. Thank you so much, John, for saying. John just like feeds me stuff every once in a while, and he says, "Hey, what do you think of this? And what do you think of this?" And it was so apropos coming here to Apex. I knew you were going to be here, and I looked at your outline of what you do as a mentor and what you would teach people to be better mentors, John. And so I need to start out. And by the way, audience, this is going to be one of those lessons you've got to listen to over and over again, because you're going to get kind of a blueprint here on how to become a good mentor and really help your business and the people that you've hired to have so much more value and worth inside your business. So I guess, John, I really want to know, what's the purpose of mentoring?
In my professional and personal opinion, Carm, it's paying attention to your number one resource in your shop or in your business. That's the human capital. It's letting that individual know that you believe they have potential, they have growth, they have a future in your organization, and you want to provide them with an individual they relate to, an individual they respect. It may not be another technician, it could be somebody in a different role. It could be somebody in a position they aspire to raise to, meet in their career, that they can develop a relationship based on trust and talk about not only work situations, but also personal situations. Because the fact of life is not many of us have somebody who really, truly listens to us and really cares what we have to say. And if we think about it, today's society, we spend more time at work than we do at home. So if you have the safe harbor of a mentor that you trust, that you respect, that will probe you. When I mentor people, I probe them because I want them to really get behind the facade of,
Do you know what you just said that really rocked me? Safe harbor. And I think about, I'm the mentee, you're the mentor, and you're encouraging me to find self-awareness, to really get in touch with myself, to really come to you with the issues. Because we face issues every day, personal life, business life. If we're growing, John, we're facing issues. Yes. Because growth and failure means growth. Yes. Safe harbor. If you don't have that, I don't think it ever works. And that's the word trust, right?
That's correct. And if you think about it, Carm, by definition, there's stress in work. That doesn't mean you work for an individual that necessarily is autocratic or difficult to work with. By definition, business is a challenge. And the mentor can give advice because the mentor may have experience that the other person does not have, the mentee. For example, we're going to talk about Aaron today, and I was fortunate and blessed to work with Aaron Schaffer, who I respect not only professionally but personally. As a result of us working together, we became friends. And I could share with him what it means to relocate.
Yeah, because you did. How many times did you?
5 times.
All right.
With children in school. And took my wife from Ohio, where her whole family was from Ohio. And she was the oldest. That's it. Unless you experience that, you don't understand what that means. Those are
tough moves. And you did it 5 times.
Yeah, 5 different times. And my career in business, where you get acquired. I went to Monroe Auto Equipment. I was a VP when I was 28. Flew around the country in a company plane. Yeah, life was beautiful.
Yeah, and you've got so much knowledge, so much experience to be able to relate to an executive like Aaron, who's who's grooming and growing at KYB, is such a young man. I mean, can you share just a bit of kind of button up what John just said?
Yeah, I'll just say I think the biggest part of it is when people think about having some sort of mentoring program, they think it needs to be 100% business, right? So I'm going to teach you this process, I'm going to teach you this program, I'm going to teach you this machine, and that's all it ever is, and you don't really develop that trust. If you're coaching and mentoring someone, there needs to be a real personal element to it, right? So when you have that personal element, the other stuff is going to flow easier, but you can really help that young person figure out some of the other nuances in life that are really difficult to figure out sometimes in your 20s or early 30s. And I also think there's a huge loyalty factor in it. So if you have had a mentor and it's a boss and they've listened to you and they understand everything that's going on in your life and give you a bit of a voice, and you start to have that relationship, that's an incredibly powerful tool for retention.
I'm talking to Bud Houston, a technical product specialist with Federal Mogul Motor Parts. Hey, Bud, what's the best thing about the Guru on the Go van?
Yeah, I think that the best thing about the van and the kind of the mission is it's twofold. One is ultimately to bring brand awareness of the Federal Mogul portfolio, but I think the way that we do that is we bring value to the technician, the shop owner. And how we do that is we bring technical content, we bring some updated material, and once they see that I care about their operation, their reputation, and their qualifications, one, they're built up, but two, they really, at that point, listen to what I have to say about the brands, and it's built, the relationship is built on a mutual benefit.
So you bring technical stuff, and you bring product-specific.
Yeah, me personally, I'm super technical background. So anytime I'm doing a lunch and learn or a van visit, training session, it's typically 90% technical, 10% product.
Any new Moog products that are getting good reviews?
Yeah, one that's recently released is the Dodge Ram 25 and 3500 complete steering assembly. It's inner and outer tie rod ends and drag link pre-assembled. This is the first aftermarket part that's available in a complete assembly for this application. And the specific applications, late model Dodge Rams, are actually a kind of a high failure part on the chassis parts.
What about the compression loaded ball joints with pre-installed integral dust boot?
Yeah, the integral dust boot has been a huge hit. Initially, the idea was well, where is the boot? And then once you kind of get around and show people, they're like, well, that is the best idea I've ever seen, because I've torn so many boots on installation, or I've had a boot that's not seated properly. And they're like, well, that's just not an issue now. And they love it.
Federal Mogul Motor Parts' Garage Gurus is your go-to source for the vehicle training, technology, and answers you need to keep your next job on track. On site, online, or on demand, the Gurus are here to help keep your business and your career on the road to success. Visit fmgarageguru.com. Carm here. In our December swag contest, the password is wisdom. Go to remarkableresults.biz/swag, use the password wisdom, and enter to win a collector's coffee mug and a mouse pad. The drawing will happen in the first week of January 2019. Guys, I gotta throw a challenge out to your thinking here. We're talking small business.
Understood.
So in a 6 or 7 person shop, in a 3 or 4 person shop, the mentor is going to be someone on staff.
Sure.
That's fine.
It's rare that our industry is going to go outside. Some of the bigger firms, 5, 6 locations, they may have, a dozen, 20 people. Now, there may be someone up in the office that could mentor someone down below. But again, the shared experience is, if I was a young technician coming into a shop, I would want to pick one of my best technicians, not the oldest, not the wisest, not the one who's been around, but the one that has that people skill. But I'm working shoulder to shoulder. Does that closer environment in mentoring work?
Organizations, when they bring new employees in, I think at every size doesn't matter from the standpoint that you hire people, and my strong Italian belief is people have pride and they want to succeed. And you interview thoroughly, you do reference checks, and it's very common if you think about growing up When you learn how to swim, you have a buddy system. Somebody's there so you don't drown in the pool when you're a grade school kid, right? I think when you hire somebody in a shop, Carm, you introduce a new employee, you watch the chemistry. If I'm running a shop with you, and you learn a lot by looking and hearing, and you watch the chemistry.
Oh, the closer the environment, John, the more there's going to be. You mentored Aaron long distance, but now mentoring will happen in a closer environment. There's a whole new dynamic there.
Oh, absolutely, because it's not like you're in a place with 100 different people. These guys have coffee together, and particularly when somebody's new, it's not easy being green. Kermit the Frog says it's not easy being green, right? I think Kermit was Italian by definition. So if I'm green in a shop, I want somebody to reach out to me. I'm here for you. You're doing a brake job. I've been doing brake jobs my whole life. You run to an issue, talk to me. I'll help you.
So I think about a small business, and we've got a brand new person coming on, and I assign Aaron to be the mentor. I'm going to be the mentee. And basically, everybody knows about it. I mean, John, maybe in corporate America, not many people may know that John was your mentor. You did it when, maybe at home at night, driving the car. And so here I am in this very public display. It says, listen, Aaron's going to be mentoring Carm. I just want everyone to know. But he does, I'm not sure he's going to have to do it alone. We all want to teach Carm and bring Carm through the organization. But it's not necessarily always teaching me systems and processes. You want to mentor and engage me in culture. You want to build me up in the shared vision. I mean, would you be offering me a career guide as an example inside the company?
It certainly could be that. I think for the mentor, it's a whole lot better when you have a plan. And as you mentor a few more people, the plan can change. You might evolve, but if you don't have some sort of plan or vision for the business and for that person, then there's really no point. You're almost wasting your time.
So if I was the CEO of Carm's Garage, and I've got 4 technicians, a couple of service advisors, I'm going to be growing my own technician, and part of that is I want to assign a mentor-mentee relationship. But yet, as the CEO, I want to say, listen, I want this individual tech to get 40 hours of training in these subjects this year. Mentor, here's the plan. I'd like to see you make sure it all gets done. And along the way, I'd like to have a meeting with you and your Aaron and Carm. Is it weekly? Is it monthly? Because life is ever changing.
Yeah.
Experiences are changing. I may have a good day. I may have a bad day. I may have something going on the outside of work that I bring into work. How often in a small business should the meetings happen? And I love the idea of a plan. Bring all my ideas down to earth here.
And you can go online. If you're a small shop owner, there's a lot of information online today. And you gather the information and you share it with the person who you designate to be a mentor. And in fact, you ask them to read some material and you walk through it with them. And it's a learning experience for them because it's an honor for the owner of the shop to identify me as a mentor. That's recognition. John, I think you have the skills, you have the communication skills, you have empathy. I watched you, you listen. You listen to me, you listen when we have a bad day in the shop. And because of that, I'd like you to mentor Aaron. Bright young man, new with the company. Let him know about our culture. And by the way, tell him about me and how I lead on a good day and a bad day.
Yeah,
and establish that.
Yeah.
And if you're comfortable with that, and then you have a separate meeting before you put the two together with the mentee. Because the mentee has a vote and has the right to say, yes, I want to work with John. Or let me think about it, because it's not forced. It has to be something the person's interested in and willing to participate in. And by the way, the conversation between the mentor and the mentee stays private.
Yes.
When I coached Aaron, I would do a monthly report after each one of our sessions. Before it went to his bosses, I sent a copy to him first, and he had the right to edit it, because We would share confidential information both ways. I would tell him about my shortcomings in my career. I have them. Disappointments in my career. I would share with him heartache about life.
Yeah.
Because I'm 150 years older than him.
It sure allows me, though, John, if you were mentoring me, to know that you're as human as I am.
Amen, brother. Amen. Right. And
that's such a great point, to be that transparent. It's a two-way transparency, is what you're saying. And I love the idea of the confidentiality of it all, but ultimately the mentor needs to go up to the CEO of the business or whoever that person is working for. In a small business, it's going to be the shop owner.
Yes.
And so how is it going mentoring Carm, Aaron? And do you feel it should be written down? To me, I think it should be. At least a paragraph or two every couple of weeks.
Yes.
Because the owner, since he assigned Aaron to me, he wants to see his investment of me starting to make hay.
There needs to be a time set aside, I think weekly, to meet, and I think mentoring is not always the easiest thing. I think the mentor needs to be very disciplined. In any business, we all get too busy, and we could all start pushing it back and say, okay, we were supposed to meet at 5 o'clock today, but this happened, so okay, let's just try and meet tomorrow, and then that happens again, and then that happens again, and the whole thing goes sideways, and nothing happens, right? So the plan needs to actually be actioned, and everybody needs to be held accountable. And I think having some sort of written documentation of it doesn't have to be everything. You know, some things are going to be said that maybe not everyone other than those two individuals need to know about, but we at least need to talk about what happened from a business standpoint.
I love it. So, John, you and I spoke about this as we were preparing. And you said, Carm, the role of a mentor is inspire a shared vision, model the way, challenge the mentee to grow, and encourage the heart. You know, we're Italian. We're huggers. When I saw that word heart, I go, man. So, if I would write those 4 things down as John Passante's gold of what a role of a mentor is, that really helps us think who we're going to pick to be the mentor.
Yes.
And I guess the person who's going to be the mentor has to have a solid level of self-assurance, self-confidence, knowing that they're going to change a person's life.
Yes. It's a very impactful responsibility. It's akin to, I'll use a family because you and I Italians, family's important to us. And in effect, when you're a parent, you mentor your children, right? Because you do the best to keep them out of harm's way. And it's the same thing in a career. You know, there's challenges, there's disappointments sometimes, there's surprises. And the more you can share with that person about the long-term vision, you know, the vision of, again, I'll relate to your question, Carmen, about a small business. The vision of where the company wants to go. The vision where the person can aspire to do more. You're being mentored because we believe in you. Inspiration is you come to work because you love what you do. Inspiration comes from the heart. When you love what you... I mean, you think about it. If somebody's a technician, they're really keeping people's car on the road so they can have the freedom to go to work, the freedom to take their children to school or hockey, to go to church, to go to synagogue. Because when I meet people on an airplane, they say, what do? I said, I'm in the freedom business.
I love it.
Rather than say, I'm in the aftermarket, we have 3-step distribution, we have 2-step distribution. They go to sleep. They start snoring on you. And then once I say that, they understand. So if that makes, I mean, there's more to work. The task has to get done. But the human side's equally important. There's somebody that listens to you and somebody that says, let me tell you what I would do in that situation. And Aaron can tell you firsthand, I would give him homework. We would set goals at every session, and we would follow up. I need to improve my listening skills, Aaron told me. I said, okay, Aaron, Let's get to the verb. What's the action? And he's a very focused gentleman. He'd get right on it and give me examples. It's one thing to say the words, right? The proof is action.
Yeah, doing.
Get to the verb. So I hope that addresses your issue.
It does. It does.
Yeah, and then one other thing to add to the point of freedom is we've all talked to people and they've sort of said off to the side, well, you know, I don't know if I really want to train that person because I'm afraid they're going to take my job. And then that same person will also say, you know, I haven't had a real vacation in 7 years because there's nobody here to do what I do. And I know if I'm away for more than 3 days, everything falls behind. So what are you really doing, right? If you're not able to. So let's mentor people. Let's get them up to speed. If the plan is to grow the business, we're going to need more people.
Yeah.
And you know, if you want to enjoy a week or two of your summer.
Exactly.
Let's get the right people in place that let you do it.
John, I love what you said just a few moments ago. By the way, I agree with all that you're saying. Very good. I'm thrilled where we are. You mentioned, well, Aaron, you may have to, or Aaron says, I have to improve my listening skills. Well, you know what? We all need to improve our listening skills.
Sorry, what was that?
You're bad, Aaron.
Good, Aaron. I'm glad you're so comfortable behind the mic. That's a good thing. John, I guess what you're saying, you mentioned it earlier about going out to the internet. If the mentor notices that whenever we're together, he never wants, you know, I do care about what he has to say. I will be the good listener. I will hear about his couple of weeks, what he's doing, what he's thinking, where he thinks his challenges are. But when I get ready to talk, he constantly interrupts me. So I could, not only the mentor may not be asking me, I need to be a better listener, but the mentor may say, I want to back you down a bit and let's start working on some listening skills. There, John, then someone could go to the internet, find a course or an outline, and, you know, when you teach, you learn.
That's correct.
So you could probably become a better listener as a mentor and help your mentee. Think about the fact that all the training that this person has to go to, sometimes people that don't listen think they're smarter than everybody else and they need to be heard. And when they're going to go to classes, they need to get the uptake to learn what their craft is going to be, what their new skills that we're working on. Yeah, did I just describe a process to, you know, improve these areas?
Absolutely. And if you think about it in life, I said it earlier, and Eric can validate this. When Aaron and I worked together, and we would spend, and he and I would meet face to face like every month. I would listen 80% of the time in those sessions. Try to listen 80% of the time for 4 or 5 hours.
It's hard.
That's difficult because we're verbal, right?
Right.
But I would ask very, very probing questions of Aaron, and I would say to Aaron, and I didn't have the problem with Aaron, not a problem, but he was comfortable with digging deep. Sometimes people would give me a surface answer. Like one of my questions, I ask him, "What's your purpose in life?" That's a heavy question.
And that wouldn't be the first one to ask.
That's a heavy question. You remember, Aaron?
Oh, yeah.
And so one of the criteria for being a successful mentor is to really be an active, caring listener with empathy, be non-judgmental, because anything he says is okay. I'm not there to judge. I'm there to listen.
So I'll only share my feelings on what you just said. As an interviewer that I am, as I grew into loving what I do here for the show and the industry, I realized that listening had to be my most important skill.
Yes.
And I also knew that I wasn't listening so that I could answer. I was listening to truly learn, to understand, to empathize. So I would offer to anyone who is mentor or mentee relationship, think of yourself as the interviewer, that you need to cling on every word because there's someone who's going to listen to what you've just talked about, and you need to make it clear for them so that if someone was listening to John talk to Carm and I discounted what he said because I was ready to ask the next question, that wouldn't help my listener and it wouldn't help the mentor or the mentee.
No.
So I'm offering that up as a suggestion. Be an interviewer and cling to every word.
Yeah, and the other thing I'll just interject is it's so critical as a mentor. It's also critical in any other aspect of business, right? So if you're a mentor and you also happen to be the service writer and you're talking to the motorist, having that real skill of being able to understand what the motorist is saying or describing, making the motorist feel comfortable describing the issue before you start talking, and just simply trying to tell them how much you know or what they need to buy from you that day is an incredibly powerful way to strengthen that relationship.
That's huge. A huge statement. Thank you so much. John, you also said to me the other day that mentoring is really a glue to employee retention. I love that statement.
Yeah, and I firmly believe that is that we work for multiple purposes. I mean, obviously to provide for our family, have benefits, and build a career. But the fiber of belonging is so strong that when you're a mentor, you have a mentor. I use the analogy of the safe harbor. Today, with so many changes and so many challenges, there's nothing like working in an organization where you're not quite sure if you're safe, if I'm making sense, Carm. And so, and particularly with the millennials, but I think any generation, you need that sense that somebody's going to have your back, if I could say that, Carm.
Sure.
And they're not going to let you get in harm's way. And if you have a bad day, if you have an emotional day, they're there to listen and to help you, because we all have bad days. They can vent. And years ago when I was in big companies, I would suggest, and the CEO would look at me like I had 5 heads, we should have a room where people go in and scream. It'd be the scream room. So if you're having a bad day, you could go in, lock the door, and scream, and kick some stuff, and then leave and feel better.
Yeah.
I'm being dramatic, but we all need somebody to vent to, because, and I'll say this particularly about men, we deny our emotions. This has been proven medically and psychologically. Women outlive us because women emote. If your wife's upset, Carm, I suspect you know it.
She nods her head a lot. I said, does that mean you love me?
And so, what I'm saying is that's the safe harbor, and that's the glue to say there's more here, that I have to be a better technician, which they want to be. There's that human element that you can't put a dollar sign on. There's organization where you feel that when you come in the door. And you and I have talked about that, Carm. I go to Starbucks and I travel. You go in there, there's joy in the people serving you coffee. They built that culture, and I think you can do that in a shop.
Yeah, and you're so right, and I'm glad you brought that up, because we talk about culture all the time. The top shops in America have very strong cultures. They've worked very hard. It didn't happen overnight, and they all realized a while back that things had to change, and one of the big things that they had to change was culture. Aaron, I want to ask you, if you wouldn't mind, I'll put both of you on the spot.
Okay.
How was your mentoring relationship with John, and can you credit him for kind of some of the strong fiber that you have today?
I think so. Of course, the relationship is very good, and we still talk. I think what Dr. John did more than anything through our time together was solidify some of my fundamental understandings of and beliefs in business, and some strong beliefs I had about the way you need to treat people, about how you can be incredibly kind and compassionate and understanding with people, but at the same time, you can also push them further than what they maybe thought they were capable of.
Oh, that's a great point.
And I think you can really only help people get to the next level and make them better when they want to do it, and when they want to do it for you, and when you trust them, and when they trust you. So much of a part of a problem, I think, in all of corporate culture and small business is people don't do things because they're afraid to fail. And I've had people like this that have worked for me, and you really need to get past that with people. It's okay if people fail. As a manager, you need them to empower them, but maybe give them smaller tasks and let them get on and do it. And if they fail, that's okay. At least they get on and do it. And then use that as a training moment so they can get to the point where they can perform the bigger tasks with their own initiative. Because we're all getting busy. You know, people are going to have more and more people reporting to them. Shops are going to get bigger, and we need people that can, you know, act on initiative and be adults.
How was he? Good?
He's an old soul in a young body. He's a very, very focused gentleman. Very clear early on what he wanted to do. And I always like to quote, you know, great intellectual people like, you know, Charlie Brown said, "There's no greater bird than having potential." And my role as a mentor with Aaron is, and I'm not here to embarrass Aaron has great potential. And from the first time we met, the first time I met him when I was engaged with KYB, he was in customer service, and I saw it. We went into that relationship, and I said to Aaron, Aaron, I'm going to probe you. I'm going to challenge you in a positive, supportive way, because I think you have the juice, you have the passion, you have the intellect, you have the work ethic, and together we're going to grow. It's not a one-way street, Carm. I also learned and benefit from my relationship with Aaron. And that's what life's all about. We all have something to give. We all have something to learn. I don't care if I'm a shop owner or I'm a tech working for you in the shop and I'm 60 years old, I can still learn. And so once we get that on the table, and get the ego out of the way, the fact of life is we all need each other. But to answer your question about Aaron, is Aaron was... We knew each other going in. He had seen me before, but you really have to get that trust where you're going to be willing to share. What I do to help do that, I tell stories about myself. I'm not a perfect human being. I was never a perfect employee. I performed, but I had people that helped me.
Got it.
And most of us succeed in life because we have a guide, we have a coach, we have a godfather, and I think a shop owner can do that today. Does that articulate the point?
Yes, I love it. You know what? Here's my big takeaway from what you both just said: willingness to give and willingness to receive.
Yes.
I guess if that's not there, the mentor-mentee relationship is just not going to work.
Yep.
And I want that to be a resonating thought to our industry as we pick mentor-mentee relationships. We start saying we're doing it. But John, as John has said and Aaron has proved, that there's a process, there's a system, there's an accountability piece, there's a love piece. We have purpose, we have goals. It is just not, listen, if you have a question, go see Bobby. He's going to be your mentor.
Right.
Oh, you don't know which wrench to use? Go see Bobby. He's going to be your mentor. It's not that.
No.
It's much bigger, better, and deeper, because we're really developing people inside the culture of our business that can contribute.
What you worry about as an employer is what employees don't tell you. Mm-hmm. That's the fear. And I think the mentor can help with that, because look, there's sometimes you disagree with decisions that are made. We all do. Again, there's not a perfect leader, perfect manager. Right? We make decisions based on fact, sometimes emotion. And if you have a culture where anything's okay to address, as long as you do it professionally, without making it personal, without belittling me as a leader or a manager, I'll listen. And I think companies today are missing that point, because there's a fear factor that if I disagree with the boss, there'll be retaliation. And as a mentor, what I would do with folks, young people, older people, based on my experience, is here's how you present that to your leader. I mean, I worked at CarQuest, great company. I was in charge of HR. We had 12,000 employees. You think it was fun to go to see Temple Sloan and tell them that healthcare was going to go up 6% next year? You think that's a fun thing to walk into the chairman's office? And
no, it isn't.
But to Temple's credit, I mean, I did my homework. I had facts. But part of being a good technician, whatever, sometimes you have to be able to have that voice, and the mentor can help you.
Got it.
That's what I'm saying.
Get it. Well, I'm going to let them be your last words. Very strong, very powerful. Aaron, you got any final thoughts for us?
Well, the one thing I want to add is how critical this whole process is in today's business environment. Unemployment is incredibly low. It's 3.5% most parts of the country, and it's been widely published that there's already a technician shortage and that it's projected to get worse in the coming years. So it's not going to be easy for people to just go out and find all these amazing new technicians that will know everything, that can work on the cars, who can work on cars and diagnose cars and talk to the motorist. So I think developing a mentoring program now is almost non-negotiable for succeeding in the future and having the right human capital to move a business forward.
Great points. Wow. I mean, you said a mouthful. We talk about that all the time on the show. Thank you for being here. President and CEO of the Organizational Development Group, an HR leader in our aftermarket, Dr. John Passante, my friend, and Aaron Schaffer, Director of Marketing and Product at KYB, my new friend. Thanks for being here.
Thank you very much.
Hey, thank you, Dr. John Passante and Aaron Schaffer, for sharing your well-founded experience in mentoring and paying it forward for our industry. You know, your example will help our people learn the right way to build career paths in a very powerful way. The episode's key talking points can be found at remarkableresults.biz/E389. Hey, thank you for finding the time to listen and learn with the best context in the aftermarket. Talk soon. Enjoy the day.
Thanks for being on board to listen and learn from the premier automotive aftermarket podcast. Until next time,